All right, welcome in. We got a special Burgh Cave edition where we normally talk Pitt. We normally talk Pittsburgh Steelers, college football. But we're going to switch it up a little bit and talk some WPIAL football. And got my man GB, the uppity Enzo, you know him, and special guest. Always welcome in the Burgh Cave, man. JJ Kitchen from Talking Football with JJ Kitchen. JJ, how are you this evening, brother?
Oh, man, I'm doing good, brother. Anytime you can hop on and play and talk about some football, but especially WPIAL football with everything going on right now, man. It's always good to talk some ball, but there's some stuff going on, man, that I'm excited to talk about here tonight. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Happy GB, birthday, how about JJ? You, man? I know GB's fired up for tonight.
Yeah, happy birthday, JJ. Yeah, brother.
Thank you.
Give him his love, man. Absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely. Happy birthday to JJ.
Yes, sir. I absolutely have some things to say about the WPIAL today. I'm very excited for this. This is something that's very, very near and dear to my heart. And yeah, let's get right to it.
And before we do that, just a 30-second little Burgh Cave house cleaning thing. As you see, I am rocking a Western PA football made me shirt. Football is what made us as men today, whether you're talking peewee, high school, college, and those of us who just watch the Steelers or whomever you root for. The lessons that you learn from playing this wonderful game are lifelong lessons. They are lessons that can carry you into a successful business career, as successful fathers, and things like that. And that's why we're just so fired up to talk about what's going on in WPIAL. So if you do see the little QR code right here above here, it is a link to our Burgh Cave merch store where you can go pick up a T-shirt or sweatshirt, Western PA football made me. Yeah, this way. It's all backwards in this way. You can go pick up a sweatshirt. You know what? And more of anything, just to show your pride for Western PA football. And if you are someone like us that has actually raised you and made you the men that you are today, or women, then go get yourself a shirt and rock your WPIAL pride. I want to start off with, I think, maybe or possibly a root cause with some of these issues in the WPIAL. I came across a statistic that the enrollment for 2025, the amount of Western PA football players is 27,850. For some perspective, and I don't know why they picked 1974, but they did. In 1974, there were 72,880 Western PA football players. Sure. Now, there are multiple factors here that we think that contribute to this. I'll list two of them, and JB and JJ, I kind of want you to run with these and your thoughts. One, and it's kind of come and gone, is the concussions. It was a concern, but I don't think it's as big of a concern as it really should have been, especially now with there's new techniques in tackling and things like that, which I know GB is familiar with, and as well as the growth of the travel sports. These kids don't necessarily have time to do multiple sports at times. So whether it's baseball or soccer, that goes all year round. JJ, you're our guest here too. What do you take first crack on? What do you think is a driving factor of the lack of participation here in Western PA with high school football?
So the number one thing I thought you hit pretty good is that you'll hear parents talk about, there's injury factors, and you look at the concussions and things that come out like that. We've had those conversations, and I've heard that from parents too. The number two factor that I think that when you look at it that you actually did mention is the travel sports. I've been a big component. Anytime you look at a Power 4 program, you look at a Group of 5 program, even FCS or Division 2, they love players that play multiple sports. And I think that me personally, looking at youth sports, looking at high school sports, the cost of playing some of these games, have gone up instrumentally. I mean, growing up as a kid, I grew up in Dormont, eventually moved to Mount Lebanon. I never grew up in a rich family. I mean, we were a middle-class family. We didn't have everything, but we had enough. Yeah. And we had to earn everything, okay? And that's another factor, too. I think that some of these kids are not being pushed to their true talented limit. And there's not enough people pushing them to those points. And I talked to numerous teams across Western Pennsylvania. I talk about, my injuries in high school, people who, pushed me aside and said I couldn't play anymore. And I ended up going to play, JUCO baseball, then on to play D2 and D3 baseball. You have to be willing to face adversity. And I think people want to play the travel sports, which I think are overly excessive in terms of costs, because you're outpricing kids that can't even afford it. which is absolutely ridiculous. Youth sports are free, should be for kids who want to play and actually gain love for the sport, like each one of us did. I think the game of football is such a truly blessed game where it teaches you have to be able to utilize your teammates. And when you're able to utilize your teammates, you're able to work with people and play with people that come from multiple different backgrounds than where you're originally from. When I played college baseball, for instance, I was able to play with guys from the Dominican Republic, Texas, Wisconsin, Venezuela, Hawaii. It didn't, it just, when you get to meet different cultures, the Polynesian culture, anywhere, we were able to play with each other. I mean, especially too, it's truly important. And I think that we're in a world where the cost is truly ruining the game, multitudes of levels, but also kids aren't being pushed to their true potential. We're in a society right now where people don't want to be pushed and don't want to be criticized and don't want to be coachable. That is one of the number one things is, forget about just football and baseball, everything else. In the game of football, you better be coachable, because if you're not coachable, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to play. And guess what? In the real world, if you're not coachable out there, you're not coachable in what we do for a living, you're not going to be able to be successful. And I think that right now there's young men and young women who don't want to be pushed. There's people that say, well, you know what? I don't want to go all through that stuff. I can stay at home. I can stay in the house. I can play video games. I've got other things I can do. You need to embrace adversity. I can tell people right now, one of the things I used to play growing up was basketball. Guys, I got news for you. I sucked at basketball. I was a defensive specialist. I mean, literally, that's all I did. But it was able to teach me the negatives that I had in my game. I worked on my footwork. I worked on my speed. You have to be willing to say, okay, hey, I'm not good at this, but this sport right here can utilize me and help me with my other talents that can really make me a well-rounded athlete. You have to be willing to be able to be competitive. Nothing's going to be given to you. And I think that's where parents get involved. And really gets into my number 3 point, parents. You look at the political standpoint of a lot of these high schools, a lot of these colleges, where, Bobby, they believe Bobby and Billy should be D1, and they need to play this certain position, and they need to be on the field this amount of time. I'm going to donate this amount of money. The reality is we need to get back to young men and women who truly work for the position. Because in the real world, if you don't work for the position, you're not going to get it. It's based on production. What have you done for me lately? Yep. And I think that the game of football especially teaches you the adversity and the struggle and what you need to go through on a day in, day out basis. And it's a game that's needed. And I truly think right now that parents are not pushing their young men to go play football and be truly accountable. Accountability. How many times have we looked around the world or anything that we do, whether it's in football, corporate America, the lack of accountability. If you can really have accountability for yourself, you're untouchable. If you can't quit at anything, you're untouchable. You'll never be beaten in life. You will never beat a man that never quits. It's the first one that taps out that ends up losing. Yep. So, I mean, those are really the 3 things for me when I look at it. That's what's truly messing this up right now. And I think that it's really, one, guided the numbers down from 75,000 to 27,000. This is Western Pennsylvania. This is blue collar. I don't care what kind of tech we go through or any kind of technological advances that we have. We are a blue collar state. We're scared of nobody. When we see adversity, we run to it. And I think that right now it's been a tough thing to watch as young men and young women don't want to go through the adversities and the challenges of life to allow you to grow and become a high character individual.
Spot on, man. Spot on. GB, go ahead.
You know what? You are absolutely right, JJ. I'm in a school district where we are blessed to have, a championship mindset, and not just in football. It's across the sports. Look at the soccer team, the baseball team, basketball teams. All have been in the WPIAL finals in the last 3 years. And then we had a dynasty with the girls with the soccer, and softball, just doing incredible things. WPIAL and state, so championship mindset. But it brings me to my point. I do believe that there is more variety and options as well in high school sports. Soccer is a big one, huge. Soccer's a huge one. And then the other thing is you talked about the travel. Some of the winter sports bleed into the fall, like basketball. and then there's a conflict on whether that whether this person should be playing basketball and football, even though every Division 1 person will tell you, every Division 1 coach will tell you they like variety. They like to see you play, multiple sports, as
Well-rounded
JJ
athlete,
said.
well-rounded.
Absolutely, absolutely.
100%.
So I think it's a couple factors that have to go with it. But the one thing that I want to talk about as well is, and I firmly, wholeheartedly agree, is accountability. I have a unique lens in this topic because I coached youth and also middle school, and those kids right now, some of them are not playing anymore
Yeah,
because and you're right. A lot of it is that they just don't want to put in the work.
just
And
don't want to do
then
it.
there is a mentality out here that um that they feel like if they put in the work, that automatically gives you playing time. No, that putting in the work is the price of admission for the opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't
Yeah,
hard work doesn't guarantee you success. It's the price of admission for the
yeah,
opportunity for success,
gets you a
right?
chance.
And
Yep.
I feel like parents have gotten that twisted a little bit. Well, my kid worked hard. Well, so did everybody else's kid.
Yeah,
And I'm talking about I'm in a unique, like, again, I'm in a unique situation. We're the number one, you know, team in WPIL 3A, right, in the state, right, and so in WPIL and PIAA. So
and what high
you
school is
kind of
that,
see it
GB,
from
again? What high school is that?
Avonworth.
Avonworth. Okay.
Yeah, so I see it from a different lens, and I've watched these kids from youth go up to high school. But the
Hell of a
interesting
football
thing
program.
is,
Hell of a football program.
yes, they come from good stock. They come from good stock. Um, but the key is, though, man, I tell you what, that's just it. Is that some people are just not committed, and they don't have a love for the game, and I believe that a lot of it has to do with the work. They don't want to do the work. There's a lot of work that, like, my son's a sophomore, okay, and he's a fringe JV varsity. He's like right there on the cusp, and he's a sophomore, so he's undersized for the positions that he plays, but he's strong as an ox, and he works his tail off. And sometimes it's frustrating for him, right, because he's not feeling like he should be getting the playing time that he feels like he should be getting, right, and it puts him in a kind of puts him in a thing. And I've seen that, and I've even seen kids even decide to quit in the midst of this type of adversity as well. I don't think that people have the mindset, JJ. It's not the same mindset that we had growing up, where quitting wasn't even an option. Like, what the who
Oh,
what, like, you got looked somebody would look at you like funny if you decided to quit on your team. Like,
Yeah.
when was that an acceptable standard? Right. That's the
exactly.
thing that really kind of it's very interesting to watch, dude. It really
And,
is.
and what concerns me to that point is the parents that allow it. That's what
Yes.
truly scares me, because at the end of the day, that's a young man or a young woman who needs guidance. At the end of the day, we've all been 17, we've all been 16, we've all been 18. We think we know it all, we don't know it all. And that's where great parents come involved and say, you know what? No, you're not going to quit. Okay. Just because you face a little bit of adversity because things aren't going your way, what are you going to do? Are you going to run from everything in life? That's the true question. Then that means if you quit now, there's going to be something else you quit later on in life. And then after you quit that one, you quit something else. And then you wonder why you're stuck somewhere and you point your finger at somebody else.
It's the
I always
cycle.
say one of the pillars I have, one of the key pillars that I live by every day, attitude. Your attitude is everything. It is the biggest disability in life is your attitude. You either have to do something or you get to do something. It's that simple. It's either life's against you or life's working for you. Prime example, Michael Jordan, who I think is, really the best NBA player of all time.
Yep.
Okay. He gets cut from his freshman basketball team.
Sure did.
So if Michael Jordan then quits, we never have Michael Jordan. We never have the Chicago Bulls. We never have multiple championships. We never have the legendary Scottie Pippen. Everything that starts from the bottom up. But then what did Michael Jordan have? Michael Jordan had great parents and said, no, Michael, you're going to go back to work and you're going to work on this. And everything, eventually, when you work your ass off and you want to be the best, Not everything goes your way immediately, but if you stick to it, you can't beat a man that never quits. I've never seen a man who never quits lose. I've never seen it.
JJ, no. It absolutely pains me to see some of the greatest football players that I have had the pleasure of coaching or have seen play or had to coach against, see them in high school and they're in the sidelines or they're in the cheering section or whatever, just because they just decided they didn't want to continue to embrace the process, because that's all we taught as an organization. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there are some very good organizations that do some great things, and I do think that the parents kind of have some of these parents have an entitlement. I say, I have a saying, parents always parents always ruin everything. Adults always ruin everything, you know.
It's why coaches leave. It's why referees leave.
The greatest of all time and everything, you know. I think that in the football and shorts has made people act silly a little bit as well, where they just decide that, you know.
And I think the football and shorts stemmed from the overreaction of the concussions. Now, again, that was a serious issue, but they come after a sport like football because it's the most popular sport in the United States, not in the world. Soccer is the most popular in the world, right? But you also have girls soccer that has a high concussion rate. Boys hockey has a high concussion rate, but those are not spoken about because they're not popular sports in America. You guys both hit the nail on the head as far as the parents go. I'm a girl dad, so I don't know of the football parents, but I did see it in the softball of the entitlement. My girl does this, my girl does that, and I have some friends that have boys in travel baseball. My nephew went through that as well. The parents are overbearing. It's actually what kept me from coaching football. I don't want to deal with the parents of the entitlement, because what I'm thinking a lot of parents are doing nowadays that you guys are talking about, they're not pushing to work harder. These parents are removing barriers. They're almost like the lead blocker, if you will, trying to get their kids through life instead of just letting them work through failure themselves. And in the first sign of failure, they, like you said, they run to a different sport. We have people in the WPIAL, which we may get into a little later, that they're transferring out. Obviously, JJ, we see this a lot in college football with Neil deals and, hey, I'm not getting any playing time, I'm going to go over here and play. And granted, there's outliers, especially in college ball, where that makes sense, the system you're in and things like that. But at this high school level, you have coaches, parents more like most of all, removing barriers. They're not there. And I can tell you from experience, I had a very loving family growing up, but I did not have somebody pushing me. Like when I went home, if I would have went home and said, I don't want to play football no more, they would have been like, oh, that's okay, sweetheart, we support you. But would GB hit the nail on the head? You know what I felt? I didn't start playing football until 8th grade. You know what I felt once I started playing? I felt that accountability to my friends.
Accountability, man, all day.
There was times I was a very, very shy individual as a kid. I wanted to quit because I had a couple bullies at the school, that I was a real skinny kid. Oh, you're this and that. Then you see me throw a ball, it's like, okay, yeah, you can do something. But the first time I miss a pass, you get picked on, you get ridiculed, and like, you know what, I'm just going to go home. But then and about 2 minutes later, then you start looking at the teammates that they're get back in the huddle. There's just that sense of team. And GB and we know GB and I grew up in a very diverse neighborhood, so we got to play with people from all walks of life, economic, backgrounds, things like that. And I think that's another thing that this game gives you, is that strength in playing with each other. And you work hard for each other. Your parents can only push you so much, and they should, but a lot of it has to come within, and it comes within from developing that brotherhood in football. And listen, we've lost contact with obviously a lot of high school players. I lost a lot of contact with the players I played with in college, but you know what? The minute I see them, it's like we never left.
Yep.
It's a brotherhood that you have in this game, and that's something that these kids, I think, are missing out.
And you went through all that adversity. You fought through that stuff. Even when it was hard, it didn't feel right. You pushed through it. Wasn't going against you. Eric, tell everybody, where'd you play college ball at?
Played at Robert Morris.
Division I, right?
Yeah, Division I actually is a college.
Exactly.
Yep. And you know what? Actually, the best thing about going there, though, I went there because it was the first football team ever at that school. I ran to conflict. I ran to adversity. I wanted to be there to help build a program. I'm not the best football player in the world by any stretch. But man, I went there because of what I would learn from the game. I am thankful for the knowledge and the game that I have from Joe Walton. I am thankful that we went in there and you know what? We rolled our sleeves up in camp and we just figured it out. And that caused that, brother. Listen, the hardest thing I took my freshman year was football. Our camp was so entertaining because we screwed up plays it got to the point where this is another podcast in itself. We screwed up plays so bad our freshman year that all we had to do was run them right, and it looked like a completely different game plan. I'm telling you, but you weren't afraid to do it.
Yeah,
you just got out there and you did it, and you guys hit the nail on the head. You worked your tails off for that opportunity.
Did you guys look like the Texas State Armadillos?
For a little bit.
Yeah. What's crazy though is, Eric, you talked about it before. You went through that adversity, but also too, you're a girl dad. You allow your daughter to go through a number of different things and then push her and then guide her. Yes. Reminds me when I was at Mount Lebanon. I mean, women's sports was extremely, extremely competitive. I mean, women's basketball, we had Jess Babe that went to Central Connecticut State, Madison Cable went to Notre Dame, Anna Kessler went to William & Mary, Lauren Arbogast went to William & Mary, Central Connecticut State. Then you had Liz Tomasi go Johns Hopkins. I mean, that stuff was competitive, and it was just across the board. Winning was important. Winning meant something. Some of these teams anymore, I remember like in college, and some of the teams that we would face, win or lose, we still booze. I mean, that is the ultimate loser mentality. I mean, when we would lose, I was like the worst person to be around. And there were times I didn't even play. I mean, but that shit, you take it personally, because you put all your time and hard work into that. How can you not be okay with putting all your hard work in and then losing and then not being good enough? How can you be okay with that? That's the kind of stuff that just mentally. I remember when I met Lou Holtz. Yeah. I went to the Ohio Valley Hall of Fame. Real quick story. Went to the Ohio Valley Hall of Fame. Buddy of mine's going in there. Took a young man off the street. His name's Derek Wolfe. Went to the University of Cincinnati. Won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning and those guys. Yep. Goes to the Hall of Fame for that. Get to meet Lou Holtz and Mark May. I remember I went up to Mark May. I said, held a pit. And he literally grabs my arm and says, "You're a pit guy." I said, "Hell yeah." He goes, "Held a pit, brother." It's a different type of relationship. Yes, and it doesn't matter if it's in football or in basketball or in men's sports or in women's sports. It's competitive on both ends. And it's whether you push people on both ends. And that's why I truly believe that the young men and the young women who are not playing sports, and it's not even, forget career sports or two sports. If they're not playing one sport, they're really missing out. And then they go about life and they're saying, what if I would have tried this? The worst thing you can be in life is a bystander or someone in the stands. Be the man in the arena. Be the woman in the arena. It is that simple. It's easy to sit on the outside and point the finger as the man falls. But when you're in that arena and you fall, you understand the cost of what it took to get there, and you're truly more thankful for it, more blessed for it. The hard work and the adversity, you learn more from losses than you do from winning. Because when you fall, you understand, hey, here's where I messed up, but it's going to grind me even more. I'm going to find a way to get it done. That's the true blessing of sports, and I call it the power of sports. I mean, it is truly everything that goes hand in hand, and that's one of my pillars: committed to excellence. If you love what you do every day, and you really want to win, and you really work your ass off, you're going to be successful in life because you're never going to quit, even in those hard times. The hard times. It was funny. I posted today. I said, man, I thank God for all the great times and the hard times, because they both taught me more, but the losses taught me the most and built my character. If life was easy and we went about life and everything was given to us and nothing was ever earned, and everyone had the same exact thing, what would separate us apart? What would really motivate us to want to be better and to create mankind to where we're able to produce at a higher level? That is the meaning of sports. I mean, that's why I try to talk to as many young athletes as I can, because at the end of the day, going through adversity teaches you more. It's that simple.
100% correct. So getting into some of these, there's two big stories I want to get in. And I think the reason I wanted to talk about the WPIALs, and again, great comments by both of you on the foundation of Western PA football, is one of them is Baldwin athletic director sends a letter to the football opponents after the parents voice safety concerns. So I want to read just a quick excerpt of this, and I know both of you gentlemen are familiar with this. But amid a challenging season for Baldwin High School, and this is actually on CBS News' webpage, so if anyone wants to look this up. Amid a challenging season for Baldwin High School football team, the AD reached out to the athletic directors for its upcoming opponents. Not just opponent, but opponents. Asking them to potentially take it easier on their team to help them deal with player safety. Now, that is already an admission of defeat.
Mercy.
Now,
Absolute bullshit.
It is BS, right? And here's the thing that they're going to hide behind. We have a roster size of 30. Their head coach, who's this? Dana Brown. But in actuality, we might be down to 24 to 26 kids. So the same kids playing offense and defense and special teams. No shit. That's what we did in high school too.
Funny though. So, never any type of discussion from Aliquippa, who's a 1A school playing 4A right now, and they got 27 guys in their team.
And they wanted to move them up to like 5A and 6A.
They wanted to move their asses up to 5A, right? And I don't remember anybody feeling any sort of way for Aliquippa. No. I don't remember any of that. And I followed them. I followed that whole story, man, because I was rooting for them to beat on everybody because they were put in that situation. Absolutely. Like that. Where was all the outrage for this? And now you have adults asking for mercy on behalf of the kids. Like what kind of society do we live in where we're asking for like, hey, soften it up for us a little bit. We can't handle this.
And GB, and to your point, right, that's a great point. But also, look at the other side of it, too. So I'm a guy. So if I'm at Mount Lebanon and I'm facing Baldwin, and I remember Dorian Johnson, all a number of different guys. They had great athletes over at Baldwin. Yeah. Okay, we played them. But then, so I need to go to my team and say, hey, I'm going to ruin your senior season, guys, because we're going to go easier on this football team. I'm actually going to probably take you out because we need to make sure we follow these rules. That's absolute bullshit. You're in it to win it. It's that simple. And if you can't field a team and you feel like, you know what, these 27 guys aren't enough, then close the program down and allow those guys to go to the nearest high school and join those football teams, because you're not going to ruin anybody else's football season. You're not going to endanger those kids because they need to pull up, or God forbid they pull up and they get hurt on their own. That's not going to happen. That's a loser mentality. That's bullshit out of Baldwin. And I'm honestly embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for Baldwin. I faced them growing up when we were at Mount Lebanon. They were always a tough physical football team. They never gave in ever. That's bullshit. That's horrendous culture. That's horrendous culture. And if the fact you should be able to teach those young men to go through adversity. And guess what? I wish we had 27 guys. If you would have told me to play both sides of the football or all three, my ass is out there. And I don't care. They had to drag me off the football field. I'm busting my ass for my teammates. That's bullshit out of Baldwin.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And before GB gets in here, you put 11 on the field at the same time. Now, we were fortunate enough my senior year, and this probably fluctuated probably a few through my junior and sophomore year. We fielded a team of what, GB, about 34 to 35 players?
It was about that, yeah.
And we were AAA. So we were probably a handful of boys away from playing AA back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember scrimmaging Fox Chapel, who we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
And Plum. Yeah. We would go on, and the reason I'm using those because we would scrimmage those. Because we didn't play them in the regular season. They would have upwards of 80, 85 players.
Yeah.
And our high school coach, shout out to Coach A, you know what? You can only put 11 on the field at the same time. And you know what? Especially in Plum's case, we whipped their ass.
Yeah.
Like
on the regular.
Like in a scrimmage, because they couldn't mess with us. No, we were fortunate of our 34 kids. We probably had 17 starters because we had that many guys that were so good that they played one side of the ball, because there was a guy that was just so much better on offense or defense that you didn't play because he was that good.
The year after my senior year, Dudek, the team that went undefeated at Valley in the fall of '96, they literally had 30 kids.
Yeah.
They called themselves the Dirty 30.
Yeah.
They took pride in it. Whatever happened to we don't show 300 no more to teams. Where is the old mentality? Like, we going to war, it don't matter how many we got, we will die for our team. Like,
you're playing for your brothers. You're playing for your brothers out there.
Like, where is that mentality? Like, look, we are going in for each other, man. No, we're not going to give up on each other. We're going to give it our absolute best. We get our ass, but we will come out here. It don't matter. We're going to at least we're going to win the fight at least. Shoot.
Listen, if you're like I could tell all three of us would have been great on the same team. I can tell you that. But like, if there's only 20 of us and we're going up against a team with 80 people, you ain't telling me that 20 of us aren't locking arms stronger together to go take out these boys.
The battle of 300, baby. That's what that is. We're taking the field one-on-one, mano.
And that's that whole mentality that you guys are talking about that's kind of going away. You know, and it's like in the Baldwin superintendent said in a response to the expressive concern, this is a response and express of the concerns of their safety, not a reflection of our pride.
Yeah, bullshit.
You know what? Bullshit. Can I say something in response to that? Avonmore's middle school team is absolutely getting destroyed, right? Every single week. I mean, just getting beat on. But here's the interesting part, and I love the coaches that they have, first-year guys, all guys who were on the WPIAL championship from back in 19 and the state runner-up in 19 guys, so they understand what it takes to win. And they just tell them, look, because it's a very, very just a lot of first-year guys, literally first year ever playing in their entire lives the game of football in middle school, right? And so they're dealing with a lot of adversity. Not one time that one of those coaches say, hey, we're going to have to, forfeit this one. No, they go out there and they play and they continue to play and they work. But here's the thing. They work and they also have fun and they're still learning the game and they're still learning to play for each other. And that is going to be something that's going to be so advantageous for them when they get to the varsity level, right?
Yeah.
Because they're continuing to work through, the process. They're continuing to work through. They actually didn't lose all that bad today to Aliquippa. It wasn't even all that bad. They're starting to see some improvement because they're committed to the process. It's always been about the process. It's process versus outcome all day, every day. I don't know, I don't know where we came into the society where it's outcome first, results first. I don't know where that came from.
And it's that thing too. And what kills me is even when I was in high school at Mount Lebanon, I remember as a sophomore, we had about, 85, 90 guys on the football team, but guys like Luke Heggie, who played at Cornell, but had Division I offers from Pitt, Penn State, you name it, played both sides, three ways on the football field, all three phases of the game. Arthur Goldberg, who went to Wisconsin, played all three phases. Tim Swalina, who went to Virginia, played all three phases. Paul Lang, who went to Michigan State, played all three phases. Troy Apke, who went to Penn State, played all three phases. Alex Buxer, who played all three phases, went to Pitt. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't understand that. I really don't, because it's not about the health and safety of those individuals. I mean, how many guys, especially when we were going through individual sports, we were begging to play all different ways in the football game. I mean, you wanted to be on the field. If you even requested, there wasn't that's why watching games now, especially now when I see guys, when they're tapping their helmets to come out of the football game. I remember when I was on the field, I remember some guys, especially too, the guys that were younger than me, wanted to come on the field. They're like, hey, do you need a break? Hell no, brother. I don't need a break. Leave me out here. I want to die out on this field. I love this shit. Put my ashes out here with it. I mean, are you kidding me? Take me out of the field. Get the hell out of here. I mean, that's ridiculous. I can't get over that.
No, I remember a funny story, man. I had a deep bruise on my knee. And if anybody's ever had a bone bruise, that's one of the worst, right? I actually missed a game my sophomore year at Robert Morris. So I get back in, I'm fully healthy, and I put one of those compression sleeves on it just to help with the stability and everything, right? I think we're going towards the end of the first quarter. We get a ball, and I get a ball. It's a 12-yard out. Quarterback puts it in there. I just reach out like this, and I catch it with here's me. I was practicing like I was going pro. I was putting 2 feet in, not a 1. But I put 2 feet in. The guy hits me in the back, right, which is a routine play. DB hits me in the back. What's the first thing that hits the ground? It's my right knee. I get up, and it's like somebody shot me. I went down that quick. You know what I did? I pretended like I rolled over, pretend like I tripped or something like that. And I'm looking over, and I'm kind of walking, like I'm just going back to the huddle, and I see Coach Walton look the other way, so I start running, but I'm hobbling really quick. I know we just got into the red zone. I know it's coming. I know I'm not coming off the field. I'm going to hobble into this next play, because I know, and sure enough, the next play, the guy who came in for me scored a touchdown, because it was what we were practicing, what was in our game plan. You had to drag me off that football field. And that's another thing too. If these ADs and these coaches are worrying about player safety, they wouldn't allow two-way players then.
Yeah.
That's what essentially some of these have to do, right?
Exactly.
Have to play both ways.
And what kills me too, to your point, I mean, one, we're Western Pennsylvania. We were always known, even across the state, we were the toughest district in the state of Pennsylvania. We have one of the most Hall of Famers in the National Football League out of Western Pennsylvania. I just, to see this going where it's going, and I'm just so concerned, because it's just the nature of our society at this point. And just the constant, it's not even just football, and it's not even just sports. It's even corporate America. I mean, where I work at, some people, can I work from home today? Can I work from home 4 days a week? No, you're coming in the office, and you're gonna be part of a program. You're gonna be part of a culture here, and how we're gonna build things. You're gonna learn things. You're gonna build great relationships. And down the road, when you're a young man, you go to get married, these people that you're working with are gonna go be in your wedding or be invited to your wedding. I mean, it was like there was pride in putting hard work in. And I mean, I can't even imagine writing a statement that says, hey, we need mercy, where basically you're saying we suck and we give up and we're soft and we're going to quit. That is not Western Pennsylvania people. That's not our people. That's not our sports. I don't care if it's football, badminton, water polo. I don't give a shit. I don't care if they have to drown me in the pool to make sure I never come out of the pool. We don't pull this shit. It's so hard to watch. And that's why when I saw that, and I know when Carlo was posting it on WPIAL Insider, who people should follow as well, the comments that come out and the just the absolute the statements from these schools is just so embarrassing. Like, I mean, someone was asking me about this at work. They're like, Jay, like if someone like did that at Mount Lebanon, what would you say? I'm not going out quietly. I'm putting stuff on social media, but going to their board and saying, guys, I'm an alum here. If this continues, I will never support this program ever again. This is ridiculous, and openly bash them. I mean, that is unacceptable. We're growing soft men to understand that it's okay to be soft, that it's okay to not want to face adversity, that let's just get out of this game as fast as possible. It's a lot like when Deion Sanders always said, we're just practicing to practice. We're not practicing to be great. There's just guys that want it, and there's guys that don't. And if you don't want it, then don't be here. It's that simple. Don't ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah, and shame on the coaches for instilling that mentality into the kids, man.
Yeah,
that's very sad. That's sad. Like if you signed off on, you know what? Let's go and ask for mercy. Like if you signed off on that as a head coach, shame on you. I don't even understand like that mentality. I'm so allergic to it.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't it doesn't compute.
And Eric's. And to Eric's point, which I mean, he's probably going to bring up Fox Chapel here pretty soon. Yes. At least that there was the balls of parents that said, "Look, we never agreed to this." At least there were parents at Fox Chapel that didn't agree with it, and they came out with it. I was just happy to see that.
Yep, and you know what? Perfect segue, because I was getting ready to bring those up, because I think we're going to probably spend a lion's share of the time on this, because this is an extra level of parental shenanigans. AD shenanigans that I've ever seen in my life.
Crazy.
I have never, ever seen a rogue AD in my life to do anything, or even this is like some crooked small corporations making a backdoor deal to get them stock options or some shady, whatever you want to call it, right? Fox Chapel parents, by the way, shout out to them, because they were very vocal on the Twitters and everything.
Which was great to see.
Which was fantastic to see, because you know what? Those are parents that care, and I guarantee you their kids are going to be great adults and as they get older and move through society.
Dude, like I talked to one of the parents when this came out.
Perfect. Can you save that? Let me go through this, and I'll come to you first so you can explain that. So again, for those who don't know, and I'm sure you do if anybody follows football, right? Parents disappointed after the football team's coaching staff or AD asks for mercy rule against Pine Richland, right? So Fox Chapel parents have voiced their, I'm going to read a little bit here again from CBS News. In a letter written by Pine Richland's coach, which is all on there, explaining what had happened, the decision to shorten the game was made from numerous conversations with Fox Chapel Athletics. Their proposal is rather than a 4 12-minute quarters, which we know happens in high school football, the first quarter would be 12 minutes, with the other 3 quarters being 8 minutes with a running clock. And he basically, in Pine Richland, is coming out to their community saying, sure, this was not an easy request for, this is Pine Richland's coach, John Ladon, but understanding how taxing both physically and mentally and the lack of success on the field can be. So he's showing that he understands where Fox Chapel's coming from. However, Fox Chapel parent Mike Elwood, but I'm giving him a shot on this because it makes them look weak and like they're playing scared. Now, Fox Chapel did lose 63-3 in this game against Pine Richland. But here's what I want to paint this picture. The Fox Chapel players didn't even know. They found out through social media. And in this article on CBS News, I guess there was a negotiation where they played a regular first half, and the second half would be a running clock, which I don't know what the score was at halftime, which that may have just kicked into mercy rules anyway. But here's what I get, because we spoke about Baldwin, and they had like 24 to 26 players, right? Again, I agree with you. Let you hunker down and you fight with your brothers, but you could have maybe a little bit of understanding with that, maybe a little bit.
Not me.
With injuries. No, I'm prefacing that. I wouldn't either. I'm just saying a little bit of understanding because I'm setting up something. Fox Chapel has 49 players, y'all.
Yeah. What the fuck?
49. They going into that game, they were 2-3. Mm-hmm. They weren't getting smoked. They lost Alderdice 30-7. Mm-hmm. They beat Baldwin 48-14. Mm-hmm. They beat Knock, who GB and I are very familiar with. They beat them 20-18. Mm-hmm. Lost to Penn Hills 49-14. Lost to North Hills 56-7, and then 63-3 in Pine Richland. Mm-hmm. So Pine Richland had 80 players. Fox Chapel had 49 players.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're playing a team with 400 people. You have 49. That is more than enough to field a football team in high school at any level outside of like IG Academy, who are just loaded with 20 of 22 E1 players, which is essentially a small college.
49 guys, you can field a 3 deep.
49. I'll let you get into this, GB. That's why I said this much I understand about Baldwin because of 24 guys. I don't agree with it, but I give it about that much of understanding compared to a team that has 49. GB, go. 49.
JJ, you don't have kids, right?
I do not.
Okay. But let's just imagine we're all fathers here. Okay? Mm-hmm. We all have sons on the Fox Chapel football team. And let's just say that we're on the golf course on Friday morning and we find out on social media that your school district made the decision to ask for mercy. How would you feel about that?
2-3.
I'm going to lose my shit.
I'm going to lose my shit.
That's exactly what happened to a guy that I spoke to about that. His son and my son work out together. And
I'm calling the school immediately.
Places. And that's exactly what he did. He texted them and told him that how embarrassed he was of this. And even worse, here's the kicker. His son asked him, he says, why are they doing this to us? Even the kids. Like, I can't even imagine you facing the kids and saying, and trying to justify what you've just done to them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you already took, I mean, look, these guys are going to be competitive. Like, there's some good dudes on that team. I know some of the guys on that Fox Chapel team, some highly competitive, some hard-working kids out there that's on that team that, they just don't have enough of them. You understand what I'm saying? And and it pains me to see them go through this. And I really feel bad for the parents because they literally, the gentleman, that's exactly what happened. He found out this. He said, I found out the exact same way you found out on social media. And I'm pissed about it. How would you, I can't even, as a father, like, again, I'm so thankful that I'm in the school district that I'm in because,
Mhm.
at least from a football perspective, because we do things the right way, and I feel like it's about us, and they have bought into that, and they've done that for a very, very long time. But I see some of these districts out here like this that they don't even have an understanding of what it takes to even win, and I don't even understand how you can even have a position where you will go and ask and ask for mercy. I just don't understand where are they getting these coaches from that have this mentality. Like, how would you is that an interview question? I got a question. Like, or do they ask now? So if you have 20 kids and this other team has 56, are you guys going to ask for forfeits? Yeah, you know what? We really do think about it in the interest of, come on, man. What are we doing here, guys?
I wouldn't even, and that's a great point, GB, in the interviews. I wouldn't even ask the question. I'd say if you even remotely come to me about asking for mercy before the game starts, it'll be your last year you coach here. Reason, cause, firing because of cause. That's, and again, and it's more, I get on the young men, a lot because one, it's important to make great decisions and also two, be a part of team sports. But
Sure.
at the end of the day, it's the adults in the rooms. The adults are supposed to be the ones actually focusing and helping develop these young men, and they're
Right.
failing miserably. I couldn't even imagine how soft of a coach you need to be to even remotely agree to any of this. I mean, to you put all your hard work into this. That just tells me as a coach, you're just lazy. You're just lazy, and you don't even want to coach a full game. I mean, and you're in, especially high school sports. In college, you want to develop young men to go off to the National Football League, but also go off in the real world and be great men in society. I couldn't even imagine high school. High school, that you're not even doing it for the money. They don't get in PA. These guys don't get paid nothing.
No.
In Texas, they're
Nothing.
getting paid 200, 300 grand a year. These guys
Yeah.
here are getting paid $10,000-$20,000 a year.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
job is to solely do it to help young men grow. And then when there's troubles and there's adversity and there's problems, how do we build your character as an individual? We're not going to quit. We're not going to bow down. We're going to work our asses off, and we're going to find a way to do this. And guess what? If we lose, we'll learn from it. But guess what? We're going to lose as grown men. We're not going to lose as some soft individuals who lack character. And that's what it is, lacking character. And it starts with the parents. The parents should know better. And to even remotely ask for that as a parent, and again, I understand, that it's not my kids, but at the end of the day, if I'm the head football coach there, I'm teaching them hard lessons because that way, when I know they leave my program, they're leaving as better individuals than when they came in. That's my job. That's my mission statement when I get young men in my building. It's to make sure they're better off leaving my program after 4 years than they were coming in. And if they're not, I failed as a coach, but as a grown man. And I would take that so personally. And if my schedule allowed it, I'd be coaching high school football because that stuff is beyond serious. A lot of these young men need good leaders anyways. I mean, I talk to how many college football coaches or parents around college football that say, hey, I solely picked my child to go to a certain school because I wanted him to be around leaders. And where we started, I wanted him to learn how to win, how to be a grown man, take accountability, embrace adversity, go through hard times, be able to adjust to it. Because guess what? You guys are both married. Guess what? You're the leader of that household. And guess what? Your kids and your wives look up to you to say, hey, when shit hits the fan, I know there's one individual I know I'll go to war with. It's that simple. And if you can't do it on a football field, how are you going to be successful in life? And guess what? When you hit the real game in the world, and that's the game of life, there is no shot clock. There's no game points. I got news for you. The scoreboard on there, they'll crush you not 100 to nothing. They'll crush you 1,000 to nothing. They'll put you on your knees and make sure you never get back up again. So you better learn it now. And the hard lessons you learn, and when you're coached hard now, it's because I love you. If I don't coach a kid hard, that's when you need to be concerned. That's when you know I don't care about you. When I coach you hard, I'm on your ass and I'm pushing you every day. It's because I care about you as an individual. And as a young man, I want you to be successful. It's that simple.
Correct.
It's not because I don't like you. It's not because I want to challenge you. It's because I want to push you to be the best. I see something. Leadership is a verb, not a noun. It is grabbing somebody by their arm and saying, I see something in you that you don't see in yourself, and I'm going to push you to get there. And when you tell me no, I'm going to push you even more. And then until the time when you see it and when you leave, you'll understand, you'll thank me. You may not thank me at 18, you may not thank me at 21, but you will thank me at 30, 40, and 50, because when you have kids, you'll do the same shit I did. And when you have someone to care about and someone else to grow, you'll understand why the hell I did it. It's that simple.
Amen,
Hey,
brother. Amen.
You know what, JJ? Dudek, shame on those coaches for tarnishing the brand that is Western Pennsylvania football.
Yeah.
100%.
Shame on them.
I take so much pride in being from here, and so much
Absolutely.
pride. Our
Absolutely.
people are the best because we don't break from nothing. We just, sorry again to interrupt you, but we had our employee third quarter meeting at First National Bank, and we had a bunch of guys from the Pittsburgh Penguins. We have a partnership, and they talked about being from the Pittsburgh Penguins and having the greatest player in hockey, in Sidney Crosby. And I remember I was sitting next to one of my colleagues, and I said, and he was looking at me, he's like, man, like this stuff hypes you up. I go, brother, we're from Western Pennsylvania. We're Pittsburgh. We're not scared of nobody. We're scared of nobody. We love this tough shit. We love it. And guess what? When it gets tough and it gets hard, we're just going to run that much farther and that much harder. And when there's a brick wall up, we're not going around the wall. We're going through the fucking wall.
Through that son of a bitch. Absolutely. And you know what? Real quick, get in here, GB. I don't know if you were saying something else, but what also pisses me off with these coaches and the parents, and anybody that watches is going to come back with us saying, you're damning them this for damning them that because you don't care about player safety. Don't put words in my mouth. We care about the player safety, but you also got to teach these hard lessons of like the tough love. But what the Fox Chapel coach is doing, what the Baldwin coach was doing, they're taking precious minutes away from these student athletes.
Yeah.
These high school.
Yep.
You go talk to any NFL player. You talk to any NFL player, and I don't say any because there's some that are going to, think otherwise, but a majority of them. What is your most memorable football experience? Majority of them are going to say Friday Night Lights.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your most memorable experience. GB, I don't know if you remember after we lost our home playoff game my senior year.
Oh.
The one, our buddy Juan comes on, a couple others. We probably walked 10 laps on the field, and there was nobody in the stadium. We were still walking laps. We didn't want to take our pads off.
Didn't want to take it off.
We were done. We lost in the WPIAL playoffs to Montour 7-0, and we didn't want to take the pads off. And as grown kids, there were tears because it was the pride we had to put on those double V's. It was the pride that we were never playing Western Pennsylvania football again in high school. So what are you doing when you're putting a running clock? You're taking minutes away. You know what? Maybe accumulative, it's an hour, extrapolated over 9 games now. That's a lot of time on the field. That's a lot of memories on that field that you're taking away from those kids, especially in Fox Chapel's case when the kids didn't even know. For what? Because you're perceived that it's going to be a safety hazard. Why? Because you're not coaching these kids right. There's so many ways. Listen, injuries are a part of sports. You can get hurt walking down the steps in the morning in your house.
Yep.
You teach these kids the techniques. I know GB knows they start them young. Teach them the proper techniques. And that's how they protect themselves, by not going half speed, by not relaxing and then losing your form, your technique. And you play through the whistle. You play through the game. Because you know what? At the end of the day, JD, you're talking about when you get into corporate America, you're not going to remember that you lost the game 60-14. But you're going to remember that you didn't give up. And you kept fighting, and that's going to get you through that next quarter. That's going to get you through the next sales call, whatever profession you're in.
What did adversity teach me? What did I learn when shit didn't go my way?
Adversity brings out your true character. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, Dudek, you remember when we lost to Derry 28-14? My
senior year?
Yes. So let me tell you a story about that.
Yes.
Okay, so we beat Derry 69-0 the year prior. Okay. A gentleman by the name of Bradley Hines, God rest his soul, passed away. He was on the football team. Okay. They dedicated that season, that next season, in honor of him. And they had their best season ever that year. I think they only lost 2 games that year.
Yeah,
Because they beat on us, and yeah, they did their thing and ended up making the playoffs that year. And it was all because of all of the adversity that they went through on the football field, and then off of the football field, losing one of their comrades. Let that one marinate for a second, man. Next year they come back, and it's a whole different team. There's a whole, and unfortunately, and this young lady shared her story with me, and that's how I said we have a connection with Derry. She shared this story with me, and I was just like, man, that was the worst film session we've ever had in the history. I swear, the history.
Yeah, because listen, we were good. We just got our tails kicked that night.
He waved at you. That was bad, man.
Ooh, I remember that.
It was so bad.
I remember that.
So bad. But yeah, but my point is that, that's what adversity does, man. It will fortify you, bro. There's 2 types of fires: fire to burn you up, and fire to purify you, man. And that's what I feel like football does for you. And when coaches make these decisions to ask for mercy and to shorten the game and all that, you allow that fire to burn on those kids instead of purifying them and making them better and fortifying them. That's my take on it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's end of the day, it's this, and we'll wrap some of this up with some closing comments. Is because I think I would definitely want to. This is I can see this is part 1 of many conversations, and love to get Carlo from WPIAL Insider on here. And I know he was going to come on, but he had some schedule conflicts. So, and if you do love WPIAL football and WPIAL sports, man, go definitely follow this man on the Twitters at WPIAL Insider. Reason we wanted to come on and do this is because, and you guys can, and gals who are watching this can see that we're very, very proud of Western PA. We do not want to see the acts of a few tarnish the reputation and legacy of a region. And that's what's happening right now. More evident in Fox Chapel than Baldwin. And I'm sure there are some Baldwin people out there that felt the same way that the Fox Chapel people did as well. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As well as I do think, unfortunately, there are people that support what happened. And the fact that this is making this big a news, I think is showing a little bit of that Western PA resilience and that Western PA fight, that there's this many people that are outraged about this, or they're at least concerned. And I'm just hoping that by us coming on and talking with this, beyond social media and everything, we love to continue this conversation with everybody. This is a conversation, and the strong words from JJ and from GB come out of pride and love for the game of football and for Western Pennsylvania. That's more than it is. That is more. If you don't remember anything, just remember that the 3 of us are that damn proud to be from this area and to have donned a Western Pennsylvania helmet, and just love to see these kids thrive and become young men. GB and I are going to do a little high school event here on October 18th, and we got a young man. We call him young man. He's old as us. But he's doing great things in the community, and he's giving back to his community in a way that's helping young students. I know he's learned a lot. He was a hell of a high school football player.
Yes, he was. And
I know he's learned, and he's going to tell his story here on October 18th in our live event. But these are things that, what if RAD cut it short and he kind of got that mindset? I know you're laughing because New Ken would never cut anything short. What if you cut that short and all of a sudden now you're taking a mindset away from somebody who built something so tremendous, giving back to his community? Because you know what? I will just take the shortcut. I don't want to get hurt. You're missing out, Baldwin. You're missing out, Fox Chapel, of changing some of these kids' minds and their mindsets by taking shortcuts Because
Life
in
lessons.
my opinion, you as a coach did not do a good enough job in preparing these young men to go out on the field and protect themselves and play with solid, sound technique and go compete. Nothing wrong with losing if you compete and give it your all. Because sometimes, you know what, there's some night where they're just the better men. They're just a better team. That happens. And I'm just, if you don't remember anything else from this episode, we're saying this out of love and pride for this region.
I know we're wrapping up and whatnot, but let me just go on a nice 3-minute rant here real quick.
Go for it, sir.
So, for starters, everything that's said on here, to Eric's point, is for the betterment of the student athlete, the young man, the young woman who produces and plays at this level in high school. Because guess what? Like anybody else, you could be at the swimming pool during the summertime. You don't have to be running full-length gassers on the football field and going through absolute hell on the turf when it's 120 degrees, preparing for 12 days, preparing for 12 days during the fall. In those 12 games, you got 48 days in 4 years that will produce if you play at the next level. And at to play the D1 level, to play college level, D1, D2, D3, NIA, 3% go from high school to college to reach those dreams. You have 48 nights to prove your worth, 48 nights a year to prove your worth in 4 years to tell college coaches that I want to play at the next level. Don't ruin it for other people, especially the opponent, because those young men deserve their opportunity to prove to the coaches that come to those football games. Because when you limit that time period and you have those mercy rules, you lose those head football coaches from college, the coordinator from college that go to those football games. You do not have the right to ruin their opportunity to fulfill their dreams. That's number one. Number two, this channel here, I only go on 1, 2, maybe 3 different channels. If you're not subscribed to this channel, you're doing a disservice to yourself. These two individuals, Eric and GB, are truly two of the best. Forget not just the Steelers, but WPIAL football, anything, especially in guidance in life. These two, if you're not following the show and you're not subscribed to this show, you're doing yourself a misservice. Okay? These two are truly the best. I suggest that you follow this channel because they truly care about you, the individual, and everything you heard tonight. It'd be simple. We don't have to jump on this. These guys don't have to jump on this and give their thoughts because, but guess what? They're doing it because they care. They want to see grown men and young men provide, produce, be successful, and be major contributors in society. It is that simple. It is that simple. There are the very few in life that care about other people. Caring about other people makes you a leader. And as I said earlier, leadership's a verb, not a noun. It's action. It's producing when no one else does. It's when the most sit in the crowd to go watch the very few. The very few are the ones who change the world because they're willing to go out in front of other people. Whether you're different, you're indifferent from other people, it doesn't matter. They are producing for a reason and trying to help people for a reason. This episode is meant to help people in men's and women's sports understand. Do not shy away from adversity. Do not shy away from losses. Do not shy away from hard times, because right now is when you learn, especially as a young man, of what you're going to be in the future. If you accept the adversity now, if you accept the challenges now, if you're willing to go through it, the battle scars, the constant pain, the constant struggle, it will only help you produce in the future. It is the very few and the outsiders that change the world. It's the willingness to instead of walking the same plane as 1,000 other people, be 1 out of 1,000 that goes right instead of left. That's your choice. And every morning I tell people, every morning, and especially too, I don't even need to read it anymore. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill, you should be facing the challenges every single day. You have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to truly produce. Right. 1, caring about other people. 2, trust. 3, being committed to excellence. But 4, showing people you care. It is that simple. You have an opportunity to be the best you can be every day. Yep. And one of those things is following this channel and following these two great individuals who have high character, high standards. And that means showing this to other teammates and other people in your community that say, hey, losing is not an option. Quitting is not an option. Not giving your best is not an option. If you want to fail personally, you can do it on your own, but you don't have the right to make sure you have other people fail on your team. When you play for a brotherhood, you play for a sisterhood, you're playing for your teammates. It's that simple.
Well said, sir.
Sorry for my rant there.
No,
Amen.
well said, man. Well said, GB.
You're right, JJ. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Yep.
So let's go. So let just think about that the next time you decide that you want to provide mercy for something, because
who are you
do
when the lights are off?
Is how you do everything. So just let that one marinate, administration and all those decision makers who made that decision. And then the one guy decided he wanted to try to change the competitive nature of the league. Well, why don't we just, switch it up and change? How about y'all just get better?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? It's Fox Chapel. Like, come on, man. You got 49 kids. How about you just get better? I know they got some dudes who can wrestle their ass off. You can find some football players over there. I know, Joe, I forgot to mention this. I know that the great Joe Noncheck is probably rolling in his grave. God rest his soul. New Ken native, by the way, right? Coached at Valley in the 80s. Pride is back, brought the pride back to New Kensington and Valley High School, and then went to Fox Chapel. And that's how Coach A got his start with us. But Coach Noncheck, they never had the best teams in the world, but I promise you, they were not going to quit. It's not in the nature. And I know, man, I know that, he's probably the most legendary, probably the most common name that people remember from Fox Chapel football. I know he has to be rolling in his grave in disappointment in watching that program, asking for real mercy, can you please shut the game, and did it behind the backs of the parents and the teammates and their team. That is so disgusting to me, man. Disgusting. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if that's how, man, if I was in Fox Chapel right now, I'd be having some serious conversations about transferring, getting the heck up out of here, because I couldn't have my kids following that leadership. Does that make sense,
yeah.
JJ? Does that make sense? Dude? I couldn't have that. I almost walked my kids off of I walked my daughter off of a thing because this dude, the youth coach that she had back in the day, would quit in the middle of the game. I was like, get up out of here. We ain't dealing with this. I was like, no, we're out. I took her right off the field. I was like, no, come on, girl. We got to go. We don't do loser shit like this. No, we're out of here. And yeah, bro, no, we don't do that, man. So, no, man,
Listen, you're getting to it. It's to a point with also it's a loss of words because you just can't comprehend.
I'm at a loss of words, man. Flabbergasted.
What's going on there too, and it's yeah. And listen, we're going to continue this because I definitely want to bring Carlo on and JJ. Obviously, welcome back. I want to get some others in here. I want to actually start a series now that you guys are talking about this. Let's just some personal stories through the WPIAL, what we've done. And again, we have all made mistakes, and we are far from perfect. But I like to think that I'm somewhat successful in life, and I learn from the lessons that I've learned from playing this game, being around coaches, high school and in college, and those stories need to be echoed. So I think these young men and young women need to hear stories of perseverance. They need to hear stories of struggle and seeing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you learn how to be successful through your struggles. And I think they need to hear that because you have coaches and ADs like this that are looking to just take a way out. And and in my opinion, you're going to just say, oh, we don't want them to get hurt. And while I get that and I understand that and respect that's how you feel, but how you're going about it's the wrong way. You teach them that way. You teach them to play better. Then that's how they protect themselves. So, man, I mean, I could go on for hours on this too, but I'm not going to, because I said we're going to do this some more. But JJ, I always appreciate you coming on. I'm very appreciative when you have us on your show, and I really appreciate the words you said about GB. And I know him and I both echo the same sentiments about you.
100%. Yes.
That's the reason why I am very thankful that you and Harry have welcomed, even though I've been a Pitt fan my entire life, you've welcomed me into the Pitt community, even though I'm not a Pitt guy as far as an alumni or nothing, but obviously I'm a fan, and I just love the character that you have, the way you present your show, and if you are a Pitt fan, absolutely follow JJ Kitchen,
Absolutely.
Talking Football with JJ
Yes.
Kitchen, but if you're just a fan of football in general, this man is a wealth of knowledge. So with that being said, JJ, please tell everybody here how they can find you, sir.
Yeah, so obviously it's a privilege always to be on here. I don't go on. I mean, the amount of shows I'm asked to go on that I don't go on if they lack character. That is not an issue here. You two are truly the best. You're more than welcome anytime on my show. Can't wait to get GB on the show as well.
Yes.
And you guys truly are the best. That's why I love coming on here. And guess what, brother? At the end of the day, helping good people is easy. You know who we are is great. Is high character people is easy. That's easy helping people. It's easy helping good people. And I always tell people it's easy to be successful in life when it's all sunshine and rainbows. But who are the brothers I want to run with when it rains and we're in the mud? And to your point, that's when you find out who you truly are, man. That's when you find out who's really around you, who's really there to help you when it's raining and it's pouring and you're in the mud and you're stuck in the mud and you're trying to get out of it. You're trying to get above it. You're trying to just get above water so you can just breathe just a little bit. That's when you find out who your brothers are, who are the real people around you. Mm-hmm. I can tell you this, brother. At the end of the day, helping good people's easy because I guess what I know they'll always be there. It's that simple. Absolutely. You can follow me over at Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen or on X at JJ_Kitchen40. And again, I hope to God people understand. Hope they follow this page. Really do. Because I tell you what, I enjoy watching your guys' content on a day in, day out basis. And from numerous Steelers people, this is an easy watch for us. I can tell you that.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Everybody knows where to find GB, but once you go ahead and remind everybody, sir.
Yeah, man, you can find me on the Twitters, right? GB the Uppity Yinzer at Uppity_Yinzers. Absolutely. Or you can find me on the Facebooks, also Uppity Yinzers. Or you can find me on Instagram at your boy GB. Love you guys, man. It's good stuff.
Hey, man, isn't that a Western PA thing? The Twitters, the Facebooks, everything's plural.
Yeah, that's old people talk.
Hey, and yeah, as you guys know, again,
more the 70s to talk like that.
The face chat.
Yeah,
face chat.
Talkies.
Yeah, all that.
So again, last thing, guys, remember, if you are from Western PA and it made you love and you show your pride,
get it.
Check out the little QR code. Go get yourself a lot of colors available. Go get your it's over here. Click the QR code. Go get yourself a t-shirt, a sweatshirt for nothing else other than to show your Western PA pride. So this is dude. I can follow the Burgh Cave on all the socials that we're on, and we will definitely see everybody here soon. So appreciate everybody. Proud to be from Western PA, and we'll see everybody on the next one.
Yes.
Hell to Pitt, hell to WPIAL.
There we go.